Welcome back to Love You Bunches, a cooking love letter. We are making a super quick, easy dinner night recipe. I promise y'all, you are going to love this. It reminds me of fall, but it also reminds me of those rides home where you're like, should I stop somewhere? And you're like, girl, you got food at home. You got food at home. This recipe, most of these ingredients you already have. You can completely cook this on the stove top. You can do the stove top and in the oven. You're gonna have a few options, so you're definitely gonna have a chance to get them nice and crispy how you like it. I will tell you, in my experience, I've done this with bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs like we're doing today. And I've also done this with skinless, bone out chicken thigh. So you have a few options, especially if you're over here and you're kind of health conscious, like, it's too fatty for me. It is okay. Also, if you just want to do this with a chicken breast, you can. It's not going to be as crispy and juicy, but the flavor is still going to be the same. Very, very important part when cooking chicken thighs is making sure you dry them all the way. So these have already been cleaned, but you want to make sure you get all the excess moisture out of the chicken thighs. This is going to help the skin become nice and crispy, because any excess water is going to be hard frying and it's not going to be as good. And then that sogginess that you're used to, or you like that fear of like, ooh, I don't like soggy chicken thighs. Trust me, if you do this part the right way, you won't. So just make sure you get it. The back doesn't have any, so you're fine. From there, also super great part about this recipe is that you don't overly season this chicken. It's nice and simple. This is just a garlic salt and pepper mix, so go as heavy or as light as you like. This is, I like salt. I'm always kind of nervous when people come over and they want me to cook, because I naturally have a heavy hand. And then when people come over, I'm like, what should I do? What should I not? So after you season your chicken, we're gonna move it to the stovetop and we're gonna start working on that apple cider glaze for the chicken. It's going to be so yummy. So meet me at the stove. We are back at the stove and we are ready to whip up the glaze. I promise you, this glaze is so simple and so good. It reminds me of kind of like the sweet and savory chicken that you used to get at the food court back in the day. So good. All right, so what you start with is just 2 minced garlic just on the stove. You don't have to get too crazy. Also, don't worry about getting it super fine, because I'm going to strain this out. If you would like to keep the garlic in, just make sure that you have it really fine so people aren't over here choking on garlic cloves. But if you want to choke somebody, this is an opportunity for you to try it. We have a cup of apple cider here. People, this is just apple cider, not apple cider vinegar. I do not know how this would taste with apple cider vinegar, but I can bet you it's nasty. It's apple cider, okay? AC, not ACV, just AC. So we together. Okay, great. We're gonna pour it in here. To cut the sweetness, I think I've told y'all before, I don't like overly sweet things, so I just have some chicken stock in here. This is just half a cup of chicken stock. And here we have 1/4 of Dijon mustard. People get really creative with this mustard out here. That's really not me, but make sure just mix it in here. And we're just gonna let this thicken up a bit. You're not gonna touch it, let it sit. Put a rosemary sprig just in this. Don't cut it up, don't do anything. Just drop it in here, let it start getting the flavor. We're gonna remove this when it's time to eat, but just let it do its thing. So while the glaze is thickening up, we are going to switch it to the chicken. We are going to put the chicken skin down. So in this pan, I just have some canola oil and butter already going. All right, whoa. I just knew it was gonna be a thing. You don't wanna crowd your pan. Give it space, let it breathe, because if not, it's gonna be gross. And then you'll be like, wait, I just wasted my time, my effort, and my money. So, you win some, you lose some. No chicken thigh, no this chicken thigh today. So from here, we are just gonna cook it about 6 minutes on each side. Now, if you have some real hormone injected chicken thighs, you might need to cook them for longer. But if you just got some normal ones, cook them about 6 minutes and ready. See, I told you, you don't have to worry about having soggy chicken thighs. I got you. I got you. We have crispy chicken thighs today. So put this on another 6 minutes on each side, and then we're gonna work on the glaze. We are back and it is time to eat. So we have the nice and juicy and tender and crispy chicken thighs. See, I told y'all, if you're doing it right, you ain't gotta worry. Nice and crispy. So this is just a bit of the glaze that we made. So here is just that apple cider glaze. We've strained out the garlic, strained out the rosemary, and just put it on here. If you're making it with some asparagus, you can put it there. And that's it. Nice and juicy and easy. It's gonna be a little fancy. Put a little sprig. And that's it. Apple cider glaze chicken thighs. Thank you so much for joining me for Love You Bunches, a cooking love letter, and I'll see you next time.